Greetings, and welcome back to the MCOC Encyclopedia. Sentinel has just been buffed, so let's take him out for a spin. As always, we'll be starting off in Realm of Legends, before moving on to some story content so we can showcase Sentinel in all his glory. Sentinel hasn't received the most changes when it comes to his buff, but it's enough to make him very usable. Before, he used to gain 4 analysis charges, which are the blue ones in the top left, whenever the opponent repeated the same action. Now he gains 6. Against mutants, that used to be doubled from 4 to 8, and that is still the case. It's been doubled from 6 to 12, meaning you can ramp up very quickly against mutants. But before, it used to also be halved versus Cosmic from 4 down to 2. That has been removed, so he is now same against Cosmics as he is against everyone else. The goal basically is to build to 100 analysis charges and throw that special 2, and that is still pretty much the same. However, you now get much more bang for your buck, as you can place twice as many incinerates as you go through. The shock from his special 2, or from his heavy attack, is also still there, and that is very, very nice. But we've also had added to that an intimidate debuff, making the opponent more likely to block, but only whilst you don't have 100 analysis charges, and this is really, really nice. Whilst you are below 100 analysis charges, it makes them more likely to block, so you can beat into their block, so they're repeating the same action. But once you hit that cap, you want access to your shock without slowing down the tempo of the fight. That was Realm of Legends Winter Soldier in 1 minute 19, which is perfectly respectable. Sentinel is not a champion that's necessarily about damage per se. He has some very nice damage with his special 2 incinerates. If you add them all up, they come to about 100,000 damage, which is, not bad at all. But yeah, 1 minute 19, actually, it's very, very good. Now, up against Realm of Legends Captain Marvel, we do have class disadvantage, but unlike before, we still gain our charges at 6 each. They aren't halved down to 3. On Sentinel's old signature ability, he used to gain 20 analysis charges whenever the opponent threw the same special attack twice in a row, but this has been moved down to his base kit. So, whenever Captain Marvel throws her special 1 and then the special 1 again, we gain 20 analysis charges. Analysis charges provide us not only with an increased attack rating, but also armor rating and critical resistance. This can make Sentinel very, very tanky, and he has a little trick up his sleeve that makes him tankier still. We have taken 2 special 1s and a combo from this Captain Marvel, and we've lost 5% health. We would be able to take a lot of hits and still be absolutely fine. And remember that I believe Captain Marvel's specials, even though she doesn't have many abilities, does actually ignore armor on her special 1. So here we're just putting that shock on, closing out the fight. It's not the longest shock, but it does tick pretty hard. And that was class disadvantage and in 1 minute 16. Here we are in 8.3.1 up against this Morningstar. Sentinel being a robot is fully bleed immune, so we don't have to worry about that at all. And we can see that Intimidate is really doing its thing. This is a weapon node, so once we get the weapon off Morningstar, we will also gain, I believe we'll reduce her energy, or we'll give her energy vulnerability, meaning our incinerates will do a load more damage, so we can take a look at that in action as well. Do remember that Intimidate, it's not guaranteed. It makes them more likely to hold block, but you see there Morningstar had it and she threw a special 1 straight away. Be careful how you use it. So we go for 1 more special 1, which we know will fully ramp us. She held block, so we can fully ramp that way instead. We use our Striker to place the Incinerate vulnerability on her, and from the node, we gain energy vulnerability, and we can see now that we're ticking for some seriously good numbers. That's 3,000 per tick per pair of incinerates. So 3,000 times 5 is 15, so that's 30,000 damage per second. That's very good. Our heavy attack, once we're at max ramp, does also let us go passively unstoppable. Morningstar took advantage of us not quite being so good there. And actually we can see now the energy vulnerability is gone. We now get 15,000 damage per second, which again is very, very good. So that was 1 minute 10. Here we are in 8.2.2, so this is not old content by any means. That was 8.3, this is 8.2. You can see against this Strife, we are ramping up very, very quickly. We're already at 72 charges, and he has only just reached special 1. Spoiler alert, this Strife is actually quite annoying and loves to spam his special 1. He loves to go invisible when we glance, so this fight is actually going to be really slowed down, but we will see Sentinel will still do a very, very good job of it. This path does have Incinerate vulnerability, so we'll be doing a lot of extra damage on our Incinerates, and it's a place where Sentinel can really do his thing. I should not have hit into his phase there, but never mind. So he's been, phased 4 times now? Here comes number 5, probably. So we're going to have to wait out that. There's a lot of waiting against this Strife. So we're going to hit him again. He goes invisible again. But once we get to our special 2, and we drop that, this fight's pretty much over. Those incinerators are ticking very, very nicely, though it does appear that we don't actually get any boost from the incinerate vulnerability. Not quite sure why that is, but never mind. So we can combo into our striker, get the small incinerate vulnerability from that. Go for another special 2. We've absolutely locked him down because Sentinel's analysis charges also reduce how much his specials cost, meaning it's much easier to spam special 2s. Fully decked Strife there, and before you know it, Strife has gone down. That was a very slow fight, but still 1 minute 16. Very, very good. Here we are in 8.1.4, and this beast, well, he takes a lot of extra damage from damage over time debuffs. Everyone say hello to the sirens. So once we ramped up and we throw our special 2, he is not long for this world. You can see we're also doing some hitting very, very, very hard against this beast. We're getting, what was that, 17k crit mediums before? Still 5k non-crit. There goes the sirens. And, well, maybe I shouldn't have triggered the weapon quite so quickly. So what we're going to do now is we're going to wait. We're going to keep hitting him, of course, but we're just going to wait for the red timer to go round. There it goes. So we're going to throw a heavy attack, I think, to disable it. Oh no, parry him to disable it. Here comes a special 2, 5,000 per pair, per tick, and this beast just absolutely melts. Very, very nice against that fight. So here we are in 7.4.4, if memory serves correctly, and this is a power shield path. We also have recharge, which is why I'm holding block to gain power. Sentinel and his incinerates do very well on power shield, and also in many places where you gain any sort of extra damage boost. There are no synergies, there are no boosts, there are no recoils in this entire video, so you could absolutely boost this damage even further. There, we're fully ramped before Cyclops really even hit his special 1, and you can see on power shield we're getting huge amounts of incinerate damage coming off him as well. Again, probably 200,000 just in incinerate damage off that special 2, maybe 260, 280 if we include the damage from the special 2 itself. Sentinel's special 1 doesn't do a huge amount. It armor breaks and heal blocks the opponent, which is certainly nice when you need it, but it's not what we want to be focusing on for our damage. One more special 2, and this Cyclops absolutely goes down. Finally, for our story content, we are in 7.3.6, and this is a very annoying Venom the Duck, which has selective time stream. We also should be very careful. Again, Intimidate is just a recommendation. This Venom the Duck does not care that he is intimidated because he has Oscillate. He is going in, we're getting intercepted, he's throwing specials at us. But now, because Oscillate has gone back to his defensive stance, he is more than happy to hold block for us. What makes selective time stream a particularly annoying node then? Well, every 20 seconds, if they are not incinerated or shocked, the opponent will heal to full. That's it. They will also remove all debuffs on themselves, and so on. Sentinel has some of the easiest access to shock, and his incinerates are very potent as well, so we can see the timer went round there, and he was incinerated, so he did not heal. We're also doing some very, very good damage on this fight, and before you know it, the fight is over. It is very, very easy for Sentinel to chain special 2s. I did mention that Sentinel had a little trick up his sleeve, and let's explore that now. Not only is Sentinel an absolute tank once he gets ramped up, because the opponent will basically never crit you, and he has some of the highest armor you can get in the game. It took 352 hits from this Winter Soldier to get us down. But, well, when you throw your special 3, the Sentinel bot is destroyed, and we summon a new one, which means Sentinel goes back to full health. This basically acts like Nick Fury. Now, you can only use this once per quest, and you can only throw your special 3 once per quest, which is nice for spamming special 2s. But it took this Winter Soldier over 10 minutes, over 700 hits to get through that Sentinel. He is an absolute tank, and a once per quest, just full, flat-out heal and reset is very, very powerful indeed, and can absolutely save you in the right situations. So, there we have it. A quick look into buffed Sentinel. He's a very solid robot now that specialises in mutants, but doesn't fall off against other classes like he did before. His ramp up isn't too painful, and has been made easier by that Intimidate debuff, though don't take it for granted, and that special 2 has some serious Incinerate damage behind it. If you have any questions, please do leave them down below, and consider joining the Discord server linked in the description. A great place to get specific advice, make suggestions for future video topics, and while I'm awake, I do my best to be there as much as possible. Thank you, and I will see you next time.